Just for you, a Quilt Conversations live highlight, an important update in the 5-star Rulerwork Quilt Along with the Stitchline Ruler, the 3-in-1 ruler quilting tool. Many of you are in the 5-star Rulerwork Quilt Along. And I got a couple of emails asking some different questions, and I thought I might share a couple of things in response to those questions. And one is one of the designs where we straight line echo quilt. What is that? Is when we stitch a line of stitching along a shape, and that shape could be a shape we put in the quilt, or the shape could be a shape that's from the piecing. In this case, we are creating some echo quilting. This is one of the first types of echo quilting we do, is that we will stitch a line of stitching to echo the piecing, and that's what's happening here. In the blue part, since it's a panel, the blue is one section of the panel. And we're going to echo that triangle shape, but just on two sides. And we're doing a 1/2 inch echo. That's an echo that most of us are familiar with. And we can easily stitch using the Stitchline Ruler to get that 1/2 inch distance, right? We're using the reference lines. One line is next to the needle and one line is next to what we just stitched. That shows us the 1/2 inch distance that we're going to achieve when we use those reference lines that are 1/2 inch apart. We continue to do that back and forth. This is a great way, if you're a beginner, to learn how to use the reference lines to create beautiful textures in your quilt. So I hope many of you who are in the 5-star Ruler Quilt Along will practice this pattern. I would not jump right into quilting the 5-star. I would review the video and then take a separate piece of fabric and practice the design. Now, how would you practice this design? You would take that fabric and you would mark a triangle and then repeat this pattern in that triangle. Do you know how to do it? Do you know how to handle the ruler? Always practice beforehand. So just in a few minutes, I'm able to stitch these echo lines that repeat based on the triangle shape. And I decided on a 1/2 inch echo. Of course, it could be a whole inch, it could be 3/4 of an inch, it could be any distance we want. And it comes out beautifully because we're using those reference lines. I want to show you another way in which we can echo, straight line echo of the shape of the patchwork. That's what this was. It wasn't a shape that we put in the quilt. It's a shape that's part of the patchwork design. What if we decide to put a design within a shape? On the star points, that's what we're doing. So there's a video in the 5-star Rulerwork Quilt Along where we stitch the yellow star points and we stitch a echoed design within the shape. The star point is a triangle. We're not going to echo the triangle shape. Instead, we're going to put an echoed design within the shape. What does that look like? Let's go to the overhead camera. All right, so here is an example of that. We have a zigzag design right here that's been echoed. This is still a triangle, right? It's still a triangle. Here is another triangle where we echoed the shape, the piecing shape within the design. Now we're taking a triangle and we're creating a zigzag echo within the shape. How are we going to use the ruler to do this type of echo? For this design, we're using the crosshairs. The crosshairs mean we have one line represented by the green, a second line represented by the blue, and then a third line, which I didn't mark, but hopefully you can see it. This is the crosshair, green, and then right here and here. We're going to use this line right here, this horizontal line. Our foot is in here, and this horizontal line is going to help us make the zigzag that we will then echo. So how does that work? So let's say this is where our foot is right now in this zigzag pattern. Notice that this horizontal line, this is where our foot is, and this horizontal line is right along the seam. When I stitch from here to here, I have part of my zigzag. The same thing happened way up here. I stitched here to here, and then once my foot was here, I just turned the ruler. And again, the blue line is along the seam, which is this horizontal line, right? It looks vertical now in the camera, but if the ruler was facing you like this, right? Our foot is in here, it's going horizontal. So we would stitch from here to here. And then once our foot is here, we're turning the ruler and we're using the exact same horizontal line, right, along the seam. And we're stitching to the opposite side. Then we bring the ruler over again, and we have our horizontal line here, and then we stitch to the opposite side. So we're using the crosshair line, the one that goes horizontal across the ruler, right? This is the vertical lines, this is the diagonal crosshair lines, and this is the horizontal line of the crosshair. So when I think of the crosshair, I think of diagonal lines that cross and one horizontal line, the intersection of which is where the needle is. So if the foot is way back here, right against this curve, the needle position is dead center of the crosshair. That's why we're using this horizontal line on the edge of the seam, because when it's there, it's going to stitch not in the blue, but in between the blue and the yellow, which is what we want in the seam. So we stitch, where's the line at? Right here. From here to here, stop right there. Turn this around and do the exact same thing. As long as this horizontal line is lining up with the seam, I'm going to stitch the zigzag. We're just going back and forth, back and forth. Once we end up on this end, we want to stitch this zigzag. The needle is here. I'm going to, again, blue lines, horizontal line with the seam, stitch from here to here. Now we are here. When we rotate the ruler to stitch within, we're not using the horizontal line. Now we're using the diagonal line, the line that is right between the yellow and the blue. Right along here. That's what I'm going to use to stitch now to this side. And then we rotate. And now we're using this line right here in the crosshair to go from this side to that side. And we go back and forth. So like I said before, we need to practice. Don't forget, you have access to this diagram if you need it. If you have the Stitchline Ruler, you have access to this diagram. You can download it. All right, so let's take a look. We're using the crosshair to do the stitching. I don't have arrows on here because I can see. I use the arrows for you, but I recommend using the arrows if it helps you remember which reference lines you're using. So remember, I'm using that horizontal line every time I rotate that ruler around. That line is going right on the seam in between the yellow and the blue, the yellow and the red. Horizontal line, I stitch to the other side. Again, it helps me position the ruler in the correct spot. Continuous stitching, no need to mark. You're just using the ruler reference lines. Same thing again, just using the reference lines, back and forth, back and forth. Stop it there, and then I want to go back to the overhead camera and talk about the echoing part. Once we have our zigzag, we want to echo that zigzag. And how do we do that? I've come over here. I'm going to use the ditch in between colors to help me echo the zigzag. And I can echo that any distance I want, but I chose a 1/4 inch distance. And so all I have to do is stitch up here to get to the next position. I'm going to echo this line. So all I need to do is put the edge of the ruler on what I stitched before, and it will position the needle to stitch right next to it. And then once I do that, I rotate it and I go to the other side, and then I have to stitch in the ditch to get up to the next position. So we are just putting a 1/4 inch echo on the zigzag. We are creating an echo design within the patchwork. This is an echo of the patchwork. This is echo that we've created within. So that's the second way in which we can echo. I'm Geraldine Wilkins, the Living Water Quilter. I help quilters go from frustration to fabulous with 2 techniques, free motion quilting and acrylic ruler quilting. And I am excited to share this new acrylic ruler with you. It is an essential ruler to help you master straight line quilting, whether it's straight line with a straight edge or straight lines with the channel, which is fantastic for stitching in the ditch. But that's not all it can do. It can do a whole lot more, and I'm going to show you.